Module 2, Lesson 2 continues with dividing with fractions. For this lesson, you will show that you are able to use fraction bars, number lines, and area models to show the quotient of whole numbers and fractions. You will show that you understand the difference of dividing a whole number by a fraction and a fraction by a whole number. And we're going to do an example with a word problem, as some of you are confused with the last lesson on how to do that. So the example is, and it says an example of a whole number divided by a fraction. I bought 4 sandwiches and each person will eat 2/3 of a sandwich. How many people can I feed? So that means I need to take what I have, divide by what I'm going to use. So that'd be 4 divided by 2/3. 4 divided by 2/3, keep, 4 over 1, change, division becomes multiplication, flip, we take 2/3, flip it over, gives you 3 over 2, multiply straight across, 4 times 3 is 12, 1 times 2 is 2, 12 divided by 2 is 6. That means we could serve 6 people. And here's an example of how you could do that. So in purple is my 4, so this is my 1. Then from here to here was my 2. Here to here is my 3 and 4. So I did 4 blocks, but then I divided each one into thirds. This is 1, 2, 3/3 in the first one. 1, 2, 3/3 in the first one, or second one. 1, 2, 3/3, 1, 2, 3/3. And I had to do thirds because I was dividing by thirds. So I took my whole number, broke it into whatever the denominator was, which was a 3. So I broke each one into 3 parts, which is why there are 12 1/3. And so then I just needed to see how many 2/3 were in there. So I broke it up and I did, all right, here's the 2/3, there's 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 the 2/3. And that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Lesson 2, I want you to go ahead and skip the first page as we're going to go straight into the table. If you look at the top, they're wanting you to write the division expression and then the corresponding multiplication expression, meaning take your division problem, turn it into the multiplication by keep, change, flip, and then just show that they're equal to each other. So what I want you to write up here, so that you remember that you're doing the keep, change, and flip, I want you to write that up there. And then you're able to check, did I do keep, change, flip? And we're going to write it for every single one. So the first one, how many half miles are in 12 miles? We have 12 miles. What we need is half mile. So this is my division. My corresponding multiplication, well, I have to keep the first one, so that's 12. I have to change my operation, so that's multiplication. And then I have to flip my last number over, which would make that 2 over 1. And then showing that they're equivalent to each other, you would just take 12 divided by 1/2 is equal to 12 times 2. And that's all you're writing. Which then your answer would be 12 times 2, that would be 24 half miles. Because it was asking how many halves are in 12. Then your next one, how many quarter hours are in 5 hours? Well, a quarter is 1/4. So we have 5 hours. We want to know how many 1/4 are in there. So we have 5 divided by 1/4. And then we have to do the keep. So that's 5, change, multiplication, and flip it over. That's 4 over 1. So that means that 5 divided by 1/4 is equal to 5 times 4, which would be 20 quarter hours in 5 hours. Now, it says how many 1/3 cups are in 9 cups. We have 9 cups. We're wanting 1/3 cups, so we're 9 divided by a third. Keep your first number, 9. Change your sign, multiplication, and flip your last number over. That'd be 3/1. So that means that 9 divided by 1/3 is equal to 9 times 3, and that would be 27 1/3 cups in 9 cups. Next one. Their question is how many 1/8 pizzas are in 4 pizzas. I'm going to have you go ahead and finish the next two. I want you to complete those and bring it back to me, and I will move you on to example 2. Example 2, Molly has 9 cups of flour. If this is 3/4 of the number she needs to make bread, so that means that the 9 cups equals 3/4. How many cups does she need? So 3/4 means 3 out of the 4 that she needs is 9 cups. So we need to figure out how can we find what all that she needs is. So it wants you to do a tape diagram, reading it backwards. Draw a tape diagram and label the unknown. So it tells us that the 9 is 3/4. So we're going to go ahead and do, by reading it backwards, 3/4. So that means you have 4 boxes. And 3/4 of it is 9 cups. So that means these 3 equal 9, and we need to find out what's missing. So next it says shade in 3/4. So I'm going to shade in the 3/4. 1, 2, 3. Label the region to show that 9 is equal to 3/4. That's what I did. We could do it again down here. Here to here is 9 cups. And then analyze the model to determine the quotient. So we have 9 broken into 3 parts. So you'd have 9 divided by 3 to find out how much each thing is worth. So that's 9 divided by 3. You get 3, so that means each of our boxes are worth 3, which means the whole thing would be 12. Now, you also could actually do a division of quotients. So we have our division of the fraction. So we have 9, and they told us that was only 3/4 of it. So here, let me show that you did then 3 times 4, because of the 4 boxes in the tape diagram, gave you 12 for the total. But we had 9. That was only 3/4 of it. So we take 9 divided by 3/4. We keep the 9, change its multiplication, flip that over, you get a 4/3. So that's a 9/1, and times a 4/3. I take 9 times 4, I get 36. 1 times 3 is 3. 36 divided by 3, so I'm going to put that's equal to 36 divided by 3, gives me 12. So the total is 12 cups of flour. All right, on the next page, you have 5 exercises. I would like you to complete 1 and 2. After you complete 1 and 2 successfully, I'll move you on to the checkpoint.